Carter from Carter Curriculum, where I am on a mission to savor our shared humanity. We have a shared humanity, and I want to savor it with analysis and commentary of poetry. I feel that poetry gets after the heart of the human experience. It is supremely subjective in its delivery, and it is supremely subjective in its understanding as well. Written by dead poets, poets that are um, living through, that live on through the power of their words. We have taken a look at two poems already in this series where we're taking a look at Nikki Giovanni's poems. The first poem that we took a look at was on hearing the girl with the flaxen hair. The second poem that we took a look at was You Came Too. Very good, great poems. I mean, poems used that use much technique and style. We these poems are coming from this book, Black Feeling, Black Talk, Black Judgment. Poems by Nikki Giovanni. Nikki Giovanni, a educator, an activist, a poet. These are written in or at least published in 1970. Now today we're going to take a look at the poem I'm not lonely. You know, as an educator, I'll walk on campus and I'll see the panic and dread in people's eyes when they find themselves sitting alone, when they don't have um, uh, people around who they could sit with or joke with, and then all of a sudden, a lot of the value of who they think that they are is tied up with whether or not they have people who are friends they can consider friends or a significant other around. I see this a lot in the seasons where it's like dance time or it's time for people to grab a boo, Valentine's Day, and boo up and honey up and be um, so-called in love with someone and show their affection with someone. I see people who are dreading being alone. In fact, I don't just see this on campuses. I see this in human beings who bounce from relationship with relationship. I see this in adults who bounce from relationships to relationships. They can't settle down. If they are out of a relationship, they jump right into a relationship as quickly as they can. And oftentimes, individuals who do this, they do this at the detriment of their desire to find someone. If you recall in the poem You Came Too, I analyzed this poem, and this poem was seeking friends. So it's not wrong to seek friends. This poem was seeking love, or the speaker was seeking love in this poem. This speaker was also seeking understanding, and they found it. And there's a spiritual principle, a mythical principle that exists, and it is seek and you shall find. But sometimes in the seeking of it, you must be patient and you must wait. Sometimes in the seeking of whatever it is that you find, actually you lose that. Sometimes it's just the way it happens in the human condition. We have things, we lose things, unfortunately, and it's just the way that it goes. In this text, we will see how we might be able to respond if we find ourselves alone. There is a response that this poet delivers to us through this speaker that we go, oh man, this is a way to have a mindset for being alone, and that's essentially what we get is a mindset for being alone. I'll go ahead and read it, I'll analyze it, and then I'll provide some commentary to it, and then I'll give you some application as to how you might be able to live out this poem. Because we're not just looking to analyze and provide commentary, we're looking to see how this literature, how this poetry can interact in our lives, how we can actually use this poetry to make our world and our life much better as we share our humanity with other human beings. Let's go ahead and let's take a look. I'm not lonely. That's the title. I'm not lonely sleeping all alone. You think I'm scared, but I'm a big girl. I don't cry or anything. I have a great big bed to roll around in and lots of space. And I don't dream bad dreams like I used to have when you were leaving me anymore. Now that you're gone, I don't dream. And no matter what you think, I'm not lonely, sleeping all alone. A couple things that I want to take a look at is the shortness. The first thing I want to take a look at is the shortness of these lines. These lines are very short. None of them going beyond, I think, 5 words is the largest, maybe even 4. Let me take a look real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5. This one. I'm a big girl. That's the longest line. 2, 3, 4, 5. In lots of space. That's the longest line. 5. So there's about 2 or 3 times that the author writes with um, 5 words per line. And there's 23 lines here. So it's pretty lengthy in terms of the line count, in terms of what we've been studying. So the line count is pretty lengthy. If you notice here that the author uses some repetition, but not a whole lot. So even each word is essentially lonely. It doesn't have very many word like one word doesn't have very many um, duplicates, right? She doesn't repeat words often. Where actually, when you get other texts that she's written that we've looked at, you see that she has quite a bit of repetition. I came to the crowd. 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 I went from the crowd. I went from the crowd. I went from the crowd. Another poem that we took a look at already on hearing the girl with flaxen hair. Um, there is some repetition. Night comes. Um, let's see here. There is repetition in terms of how the person how she structures contrast in appearance, contrast in work, contrast in appearance, contrast in work. So there's a little bit of more repetition as you can see other places. Woman. Um, so again, in other poems, it's see a woman again here. It seems like she uses repetition a little bit more with a little bit more regularity. But here, man, she lets these words even be alone. These words are alone. These lines are in some ways alone as well. I can't make out the structure of this poem because she's got a two line stanza there, a 4 line stanza there, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 line stanza there, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 line stanza there. Maybe there's some technique that I don't know about that she's using there. Very well might be. If you do know the technique that she's using there in terms of structure, let me know because I certainly have not determined what the structure is. I'm not some expert in structure, so very well might be something going on there, but you don't necessarily see a lot of it. It's minimal, right? It's minimal, just like the idea of being alone is a minimal idea. She's talking about being lonely and alone, and she doesn't use a whole bunch of words or long lines to do this. It's very trimmed down. It's minimalized to at its core. One word that I want to take a look at because she uses it symbolically is this idea of bed or this idea of sleeping, right? This idea of bed or sleeping, those are synonymous, I would say. These are synonymous terms. She uses that there and that there. And she also uses, I would imagine, that this dream, which dream she uses 3 times. It is the most repetition, but 2 times it is used as a means of negation. So, dream, bed, all of these in my mind are synonymous terms. Why? Because they both connect up with this idea of a sleep, this idea of that being in bed with someone is the time where it is most intimate. Is probably the time that you miss when you have someone who you have a significant relationship with, and then now they're not in your bed, keeping you warm, enjoying their relationship and company with. It probably is the most intimate place that a relationship is considered. When you think of relationship and you think of bed, no one else could I sit around with or lay around with in my bed besides my wife, right? But I could sit in a chair or next to someone. I could sit in a room next to someone. But if it's bedroom, no one else besides two lovers get to that bed. So it is the place that is on this speaker's mind And this bed symbolizes a place where she can reclaim her bold independence. You see, she's no longer in need of someone, right? This someone is not defining who she is. She is the theme is she is being bold, boldly independent. Her tone here is independent. Her tone here is a claim, almost a reclamation of independence. It's like the Declaration of Independence. If you read that thing very early on, we hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal, endowed by their by God or by the heavens with their inalienable rights, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. And then at the very end, the Declaration of Independence, they claims their independence. Like, we are independent. We're independent from you, King George. We are now on our own. It's almost like she's claiming her own independence. It's a reclamation of her being fully who she is apart from another individual. It is her saying, "Look, I am unique. I don't need someone to make me who I am. I can live all alone." And she almost taunts the her significant other or whoever it might be that she's saying, "Look, man, I am I'm cool being by myself." So there's three ways that I want to interpret this. I want to sort of look at this in depth, and that's psychological, political, and mythical. We talk psychological. We ask the question, what mental, emotional challenges does the character face? The character is facing the possibility of loneliness. And in spite of facing the possibility of loneliness, the speaker says, "Look, no, man, I'm good. I'm not lonely. I'm by myself, yes, but I'm not lonely." So the mental challenge is that the speaker can find themselves being lonely, but the speaker has reclaimed their independence. And so another question that arises: what is the speaker's mental state? The mental speaker's mental state is cool, like it's settled, it's peace, it's I'm okay, I'm independent. I've come to this spot, and it's almost like the speaker is um, suggesting that the person who the speaker is with is like it would be. Oh man, I would expect you to be alone or lonely when you're alone. But the speaker's like, go ahead and go your way. I'll be all right. How do these challenges impact the speaker's beliefs and actions throughout the poem? The speaker um, has no doubt that they can live without anyone. And this matters to you and to me, and I'll draw some applications in a few moments. Politically, we're not talking about political entities like president, you know, vice president. We're not talking about large scale political things like, in public offices and stuff here. This could be the way that we interpret it, but we're interpreting this just in terms of power. So, in terms of power, this person is now claiming their power. How does the speaker gain or lose power in the poem? The speaker gains power because the speaker is claiming or reclaiming their independence, claiming or reclaiming that they don't necessarily need someone else to show them or to be there with them. They're okay with being alone and not lonely, sleeping alone. Have in that one place where man, somebody you want somebody to keep you warm at night in the bed, and it's the speaker's like, look, man, I'm I'm okay all alone. How do they react when they gain the power? The speaker gains the power, or the power is threatened or lost. When the speaker gains the power, there's a settledness that they have to themselves. They don't need someone else to give them power, the power of their comfort, the power of the presence. The power is already in the speaker's own presence, and that is a beautiful, beautiful thing. When you claim the power of for yourself, and you live in that power, and you are enough in that power, it is something that is empowering, and it helps you to move on. Mythologically, we're talking we're talking spiritual, or we're talking sort of like from ideas that are passed down from ancient, timeless ideas. And so we're talking mythological here. So spiritual, spiritual. So we're talking, asking the question here: how does a speaker, um, what symbolic or mythic themes do we see here? We see here the idea of solitude, being okay with solitude. We see the idea here being okay, being all alone. You think of spiritual figures, Jesus, Buddha, um, Muhammad. Those three come to mind when we're talking about being in solitude. I know Jesus would sneak away in the mornings and spend time alone, and this individual is empowered through the solitude. So I'll wrap this up and draw some application to your life and my life and just the shared human experience here. Psychologically, some of us can become unbalanced, off, unease when we don't have someone else around, when we're lonely. Some of us can feel isolated and feel the depths of loneliness, and we make bad decisions when we feel lonely. Psychologically, we need to, like this speaker in this poem, we need to claim our solitude. We need to empower ourselves through understanding that it's okay to be alone, and we can see the spiritual benefit for being alone can be great. That you can come to know yourself. You can come to be boldly independent. You can empower yourself. You can claim your bold independence or reclaim your bold independence by being alone but not lonely. I'm really enjoying Nikki Giovanni's poems. They're really, I hope they're helping you in your everyday life. They're really helping me to be able to understand some things and relearn some things about life. Next time we're together, we will take a look at the poem Black Power for all the beautiful Black Panthers East. We'll take a look at that poem. Until then, I'll see you on the next one.